Okay, we're up and recording, 7:07. And what I'd like to do is go a little out of sequence because we have two people here. We'll go through that first.
Okay.
Why don't we start with James and the excavator?
Okay.
Has everybody seen the, okay, and you have a chance to go through it?
Yep.
Okay. Good morning, James.
How are you?
I'm well.
Good, good. So we have a 2013 Wackeneusin wheeled excavator, which we would have on capital list for replacement next year.
Yep.
But this year, we've had a bunch of trouble. I guess about the mid-May, we had a hydraulic pump go. We couldn't get the pump, but we finally were able to get someone to rebuild it. So it took us, I guess, about 9 weeks to get that. First job, we went out, we did a little job, drove off, the thing completely died, like dead, nothing. So come to find out, our mechanic looked it over, we called in Wackeneusin, but it needs a complete wiring harness,
Oh,
which we can't even get till February. But he's not 100% sure that that is all of our problem too. He thinks there might be something else going on, but we really can't find that until we get the harness. Therefore, that's why we're looking to replace it now.
so you're gonna push it up and then,
Yeah, and with the ARPA funds, try to replace it.
okay. And then the one is going to be,
It would be traded, we could get
oh,
20.
you're gonna trade?
Yeah, will take it, we get 25,000 as is. You know, with it not running, but
What's it worth if it's not as is, if it was running?
I think about 55, 60,000 maybe.
Okay.
Is it worth holding on to and get?
The only thing that scares me is just the unknown. Like if it's a hydraulic, the main hydraulic pump, then we'll be behind for sure. There's a lot of unknowns and the unavailability of parts
How
too.
many hours on that, James?
I'd say about 6. We're a little off because the one time the harness broke to the meter, so we were for a while without that, but probably 6,000 hours.
And how many, how often is that being used?
Daily, this time of the year, really now it's year round because even in the winter, we're out roadside. That's what's killing us now is the roads are really coming in. But we roadside mow it the year round because in the winter you can see more so we can push it back farther. We got, a big mower. It's one thing to mow the grass, but like in the winter we push back on all the saplings, yeah. So it's a everyday piece of equipment now between road work and that. And we use it for all the tree work too. We use it for picking up all the butts and.
And is the new one just an exact replacement or a
It's
modernized?
a different brand. It's a kind of a funny piece of equipment. There's not a ton of manufacturers with a wheeled excavator, but the beauty for us is we can just drive it across town. If the tree goes down, we drive over, pick it up. Whereas if it was a tracked excavator, you'd have to trailer it, then Class A licenses for everybody, plus just time. In the middle of the night, if there's a tree down, you just jump in it, drive across town, and pick a tree up and get it out of the road, stuff like that.
But that's the same thing you use a tractor for.
But see, the little tractor just mows, it'll mow.
No, I'm saying a backhoe, if you had a tree down,
Yeah, we don't have a backhoe anymore, but if you had a backhoe, same thing. The only trouble with the backhoe, instead of having two pieces of equipment, the way you can mow the roadside with an excavator when you turn sideways and just wheeling down the road, with a backhoe, you spend more time setting up. And then you only got a limited amount of mowing you can do. And you're just in the road more. Same with when we do road work. With an excavator, you got the 360 degree. You can dig, swing around, but the backhoe, you got to get the truck positioned, so you're taking up more of the lane. It's just, it's kind of, we've got to, now that we've become accustomed to we've had it for 10 years. It's
You're
just,
ruined now.
Yeah. But it's just way more efficient. To roadside mow with a backhoe, we'd be spending as much time setting up and swaling, just resetting up as running an excavator.
So this is your only retired?
Yeah, and we don't have and we've eliminated the back, we don't have back, this is our one piece of equipment that, does all our digging, the bulk of our mowing. We mow a stretch 3 feet wide with a little mower, but as far as mowing brush back and saplings and small trees, no.
Okay.
Does it make more sense to fix it before you trade it to get the extra $25,000? Let me
Honestly,
ask you this, is the parts ordered?
they haven't been ordered for the thing, but we can get away from the harness. We're not entitled to keeping it. But as far as, honestly, I don't believe that just the harness is the problem.
You need a different mechanic?
Well, we've got the manufacturer in there now. I mean, we've even called them in. It's a, you know, we usually do everything in-house, but we had them in. It's hard to diagnose the other issues without that
Without it
harness.
working.
Because you can't even get it running to run the pump to do anything. So, I mean, it's a gamble, I guess.
Yeah.
Is electronics an
Well-
issue with the whacker?
Yeah,
I
it-
mean, you mentioned there was a harness problem before.
yeah, we've had trouble
Yeah.
in the past with it.
Or is it vermin, like
What-
chewing, or is it like animals chewing on it?
No, it's internal, no animals. Yeah.
Well, that's an issue, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's been a little problematic. That's when the one thing that scared us is the electronics. But the hydraulic pumps and everything are getting tired too. I mean, the mower puts a lot more abuse on it because it's constant flow, whereas when you dig and you move it, but when you got the mower running, that hydraulic motor is just wide open. So it's, you know, when you run a mower on them, it is a lot more straight.
And the whole machine is run on hydraulics, right?
Yes, correct.
What's the anticipated number of hours it should be able to work before it needs replacement, otherwise?
I mean, when you put the mower, I mean, I would say, you know, you could expect to get, you know, our old loader, we had almost 11,000 hours on it that we got rid of, you know, years ago. But everything's, the other scary part is it's the only thing we have. I mean, it's really put a hamper, you know, this summer we finished Plum Island, but then we've been 2.5 months, you know, renting stuff and trying to get by, doing what we can with what we can rent. You can't rent a mower like that either, so, you know, therefore the roadside brush has really creeped in on us this
So I'm
summer.
glad you mentioned that. So you've been renting,
Yeah,
so that there's been an offset
yeah,
expense.
exactly. And like I said, we can't really rent anything with a mower head on it like that. You can rent an excavator, you can rent a backhoe, but nothing that'll do that type of mowing. We'd have to get somebody in to do it.
The biggest question, we recognize this is an important piece of equipment. It's the only one you have. It's rubber tires, so that's important. The question, I guess, is the life expectancy. It's going to be on 10 years. You're
Yeah.
at 6,000 hours,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and that's what we kind of figured, you know, the 10-year market becomes a little less, you know, reliable. And again, it's hard to say because if you talk to anybody, once you put that mower on, you really strain that main hydraulic pump. I mean, it's just a constant flow. It's not like when you're making movements with an excavator, but when that motor's
It's
running,
always on.
yeah, it's wide open.
So is 10 years a reasonable?
I think it is, because I mean, although we did have, you know, of course, maybe we were 1 year too late, because other than that, we've had problems that we've been able to get through, but, you know, we did have the hydraulic pump. So there's the main pump, and the pump we did replace was the drive pump, which goes into the transfer case, gives you all your forward and backward motion, but the other pump does all your digging and running your mower, that we haven't replaced.
Okay.
Any question? Not for me. I'm
All right.
convinced.
So,
Actually, one more question. So you're going to go with the JCB?
Yes.
So the research on that versus going?
Yeah, well, the thing we liked about this one is it's got a little bit of different drive system, more accessibility to work on the actual motor. Everything's a little bit easier. This is a new option compared to 10 years ago. There's like one other option too, it's a Mechalec machine, but we found that most of the parts on that are the same as the machine we have. So,
That was going to be my next question.
and the other thing with this company here is, you know, as far as if something breaks, they'll get us a machine. God forbid the machine breaks, as long as we have it, they'll give us something to use. It may not be the exact machine, but they'll give us something to use when if it was the trade.
As a rental.
No, to just use, as long as we're the, you know, the original owner. You know what I mean? Not if you know, as long as we continue to own it.
So that's above and beyond that 3-year warranty period?
Yes.
Okay.
I assume nothing you have now was gonna match up to that new machine.
No, no, we don't have anything else in stock that does any digging in our, in our.
No, I'm saying is, all the equipment that attaches that thing is not gonna attach to the new one.
Well, no, it does. Actually, we were able to keep all the buckets. One of the buckets we won't get rid of, keep because it's the one we wear out, but the others, for $500, you cut off the coupler and we weld the new one on and we can use it all with, like our grading bucket, all that we can use with the new machine.
Okay, just change.
And we're gonna keep all that stuff, yep.
Okay. Anything else for James?
That was it, sorry.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Cindy.
Good morning. So the Council on Aging is looking to purchase a new van. The current van that we have is a 2016. The primary reason, I know we were looking to replace this vehicle next year anyways. But the primary reason we're looking to replace it is our current van has stairs in the front and a wheelchair lift in the back. What I'm looking at is a van that has a lower chassis and a ramp that comes out in the front, so easily accessible for everybody. The stairs that we have, the first step is 10 inches off the ground. We have to use a stool right now for a lot of folks to get onto the van. Many of our people don't want to use the lift in the back. It's a little disconcerting. You have to hold on to handles if you are have a rolling walker or unstable. We could certainly put them in a wheelchair and lift them up, but I was just looking for a more easily accessible option for everybody. It's a 12-passenger vehicle. There's room for 2 wheelchairs. If we don't use the wheelchairs, there are 2 seats that would fold down, so give us more space.
So the new one would also have a wheelchair lift. The ramp isn't a substitute for the wheelchair lift, is
It
it?
is.
It
That would
is.
be- Yeah,
So you don't need a wheelchair lift in it?
because the chassis itself is lower and the ramp comes out and we can wheel people on, or you can walk up with your rolling walker or on your own.
So is this an electric ramp?
I believe
Yeah.
so, yes.
Okay.
How many miles on the current van?
Just under 20,000.
The new ones aren't even available, correct?
So I've reached out to a couple of different companies. One said to me, no. The other one said to me they have some things. If I hurry up, I might be able to reserve one that they already have coming in, I believe they said in December. Otherwise it'll be.
They were expecting, nobody has one at this point, so they're expecting in December?
December, yeah. Yeah, but it's
Sounds
not
like
something
that-
you can just go to and, they do have one particular dealer that I'm working with, or that I'm researching with, has like a demo that they could bring down and show us, but it's not on the lot for sale.
And how does this play out in the town bids?
I have to go through the whole sealed bid process.
So even though somebody has one that, not
They'd have to be the
necessarily.
lowest bidder, yeah. So I still have to put that spec sheet together and
Mhm.
send out for sealed bids. And who knows, maybe someone, I was just looking sort of in the New England area, because
Yeah.
I was trying to find, in my research, just trying to see what was available. But obviously we'll put the bid out, and who knows, maybe someone from Kentucky will have something, I don't know.
Yep.
What's the average trips per week or per day that's making?
So our van is out twice a week right now. Every Tuesday we go grocery shopping. We're also opening up to local medical appointments in the afternoons. On Thursdays, we go a little bit further to Seabrook Commons, give people something other than grocery shopping, so there's lots of other shops that they can go to there. We also do restaurant trips. We've gone to the out for ice cream, different things like that, more social events, so.
What's the typical number of people being transported?
Well, it depends. I will take one person grocery shopping. If that person needs to go grocery shopping, we'll take them in the van. And then we've had 9 people, I think, on one of our restaurant trips, so it varies.
Do you have any statistics on like number of person trips per week or?
I'm sorry, how do you mean?
Well, like if you take 5 trips and you have 2 people on each trip, then I'd call that 10 person trips a week or?
Yeah. I can certainly get those numbers for you, because I.
No, I'm just, you know, if you had them, I'd be interested, but.
Yeah, I mean, it really varies. I have one person who's pretty steady with grocery shopping every week. And then it really depends on time of year. Some people are more apt to go out when it's nicer weather out. Some people will cancel on us if it's a drop of rain, they don't wanna go out, so, it
And
varies.
you said your existing van was due to be replaced next year?
Next year on the capital plan, yeah, was my understanding.
It is.
And is it wearing out? I mean,
So in the past 6 months, aside from regular, oil change, I've had the exhaust pipe was loose, we had to go take that to be welded on. And I've had to, we just did the front brakes and service the air conditioner.
It serviced the air conditioner, was it not operating? Low
One of the
flow?
drivers felt like it was really warm in the back, so I took it to Byfield Auto to have it looked at, and they kind of just did a
Private recharge.
coolant, they
Recharge it?
yeah,
Okay.
service the air conditioning system, evacuate, recharge refrigerant,
Okay.
check condition of belts, hoses, lines, test the system. So I was,
Yep.
especially this summer, it was so hot, I didn't want anyone to get on the van. There's tiny little windows at the top, but if you're gonna be in there, you need the air conditioning.
Yep, Karen. Okay. Any other questions?
So is there, I'm just trying to see if there's a trade-in value.
So I spoke with Tracy about that, and she said it would go to auction. So I don't have a specific number for you, but it
Okay.
would,
Yeah, we've done better on auctioning items than trading them in.
Why are we trading that excavator then?
It's a good question, which I don't have a good answer. Because the heavy equipment auctions are out there as well,
Yeah, absolutely.
so.
I bet, yeah. Yeah, so
So
this would offset, there'd be a net offset with this $112,000 expenditure, right?
and we do have a grant for $68,000 from the Executive Office of Health and Human Services, and our Friends Group has given $15,000 towards the purchase as well.
so 68 cents. So you got 83 towards 112?
The total price is $185.
Ah,
So
Total
the
price.
112 is still there.
So I actually, with the ARPA funds, I asked for a little bit more
Mhm.
than I would hopefully need, so I'd rather ask for more and give back than
Yep.
be short. So that's what the 112 number is for the ARPA funds.
So you're asking for 195 total, 83.
No, yeah, I
got
think it
plus-
was, yes, I believe so. I believe it was 10,000 over. Just to give me a little bit of padding, but initially when I was looking, it was
Oh, no.
175,000. I
Yeah.
wanna say about 4 months ago. And when I checked in, the
Mhm.
person I was researching with said you might wanna add 10,000 at this point.
Okay, I see that.
I'm hoping
Yeah.
that doesn't keep
Because of
going
the-
up, but
Escalation or inflation.
Yep.
that and obviously, like James was saying, time,
Mhm.
it's hard to get stuff, so.
Yes, we know. Okay. Any other questions?
Not for me, thanks.
Tom?
I'm good.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you, Cindy.
thanks very much.
Thank you.
All right, let's spend a few minutes and do these sheets.
I assume we're doing these individually?
Yeah,
Do you
do.
need copies of the sheets?
Oh, yes, here's a packet. Thanks.
Yeah, yeah, thank you.
Did James give us a life expectancy of about 10 years on
10
that?
years.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Which to me seems low, but yeah.
Yeah. Usually he's able to make things last considerably longer. And his bid did not have any extra. Okay.
Josh, when you talked to James, was there any talk about whether or not there was any funding out there for grants for the machine?
There was no funding available for that machine. There is,
They looked at it?
yeah. He looks at it all the time, and Tracy did as well. I'll double check on that though.
Okay.
The question F is not, it's just partial funds, that's not full funds.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. So the van obviously is getting funding.
Yep.
So for F, we'd say, we'd give it a 0?
No, we
Give it
5 because
Okay.
for the van, yeah,
Yeah.
we're getting funding for that from federal funding. I'll just take a tabulate those up later and
Okay.
put them in the minutes.
I was impressed with James.
So
He always
this-
comes well prepared.
Mm.
Available state
Gives a
federal
good pitch.
funding is kind of a, it doesn't really make sense.
Well, that's why I was asking if it's 100% versus
Right, I
portion,
mean,
a
if we
portion,
get
yeah.
$15 for the government,
Uh-huh.
for a grant, we're gonna give them 5 points? That doesn't even make sense.
No, it doesn't.
Uh-huh.
But you can go for a point, half a point.
You didn't say that, you said 5 points for it.
Uh-huh.
Well, 5 I think would be the maximum. But
So you can do,
Yeah.
0 if you wanted to.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Okay, I didn't read it that way, but that's okay.
Yeah,
It's still a large expenditure.
yes, it is.
Right.
It is. Thanks.
Please, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Next, we have some minutes to approve. Let's see.
We're still being broadcast?
Yes.
Yeah, we're still being recorded.
Okay.
I don't know if we're being broadcast or not. But let me go through them from,
July 21st.
okay, we've got, you should have 3 sets. 14th of April,
Yep.
and that was one that we just met and did that by Zoom and approved the collection of minutes to catch us up to date.
Right.
So I would,
I wasn't here.
Make a motion?
second,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
And,
Yeah, I don't know. Do I vote if I wasn't here?
no, no, you don't.
Okay.
Now, was it my understanding that even if you don't participate, did Copeland and Page come back, that even if you don't participate in that meeting, that you were still able to vote on approval?
If you, you know what, it's a good point, I'll check it, but I don't
I
think
think there was
so.
a change that we
Was there a
believed
change?
that if you weren't there, you can't participate, but I want to think there was a ruling or something, maybe the attorney that was speaking with us talked about the fact that that didn't preclude you from voting at a future meeting.
Voting to approve or disapprove the minutes? Or,
Yeah, to accept them as record.
yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me that if you weren't there, that you wouldn't know whether the minutes were
But
accurate
we're,
or
but
not.
we're doing that some meetings that we weren't at.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that is
that's
true,
right.
and that's what I was gonna note. The meetings that I wasn't even here or on the board.
Okay, I will check that one.
Okay.
And then, we were all here for the one on the 28th.
Make a motion to approve?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
And these will not get posted. And finally, from our last meeting where we went through the capital, thank you.
It's just,
Oh, yeah,
it happens all the time.
you and me both.
Yeah, right, I can imagine.
Where we went through the capital improvement plan.
Yeah.
And Tracy took the notes. We're gonna get a revised capital improvement plan, and then we'll present it to the select board. Entertain a motion?
Make a motion to
Second.
adjourn?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, and a motion to adjourn?
Well, before we adjourn, just, so one of the attachments was umpteen photographs of the roof of the elementary school. Is that something that's gonna come up in the future, or?
We're doing the roof of the elementary school now.
Right, but I just,
Right, that
the
was attached
one
to
of your
email.
email that we all got had, umpteen photos of wet spots on the roof, but it didn't really have any explanation. So I assumed that they were attached because we were gonna talk about it today, but.
No, I don't think so, but.
There was actually two documents with
Yes.
36 photos of the roof in sections that were showing, looks like they're using equipment to show heat.
Yeah, it's infrared.
Oh,
Yeah, the
okay,
infrared.
okay. Yeah, the infrared stuff. I don't have any more information,
So that's not part of this morning's agenda?
no.
Okay.
And when we talked about it, I mean, they're doing $100,000 increments of repairs over the course of 6 years. or
6
whatever.
years.
Yeah.
I was surprised, thinking as you're thinking, that there was a schedule here, that there was 36 different spots on that roof that looked like they're under a need repair. I thought we'd done the whole roof and we're down to the last section.
We're doing the roof to make it leak-proof, but this was heat leak from inadequate insulation underneath the roof. And that, we don't have a project on that.
So can they get the insulation from underneath, or do they have to
Rip the roof up, right?
tear up the new roof?
I sure hope not.
Yeah,
Very
I mean,
perplexed by that.
well, I don't understand it's probably a drop ceiling on the floor below. So you could go up and insulate from the underside, but then there's probably tight spots of
Yep,
ductwork in the way, things like that. It's a matter of, I didn't look at it close enough, but when it says wet insulation, that's the infrared picks up on not only heat loss, but it'll pick up on moisture, right? So I was assuming that those hot spots were based upon wet insulation.
Yeah, I think they said something about that.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at that, it just says wet insulation. So that's what I was hoping that infrared would pick up on, rather than breach in the insulation system.
okay. So that would then correspond to areas
Yeah,
that they
we're
have to
doing
repair.
repair, but I think they're only 2 or 3 years into the 6-year deal, I thought.
I think
Oh,
4
for-
years anyway.
Okay, so it's
I think we're
for,
4 years in.
so the question, so this wasn't, because they're doing it with the white TPO, I believe, so the pictures are the old black membrane. So it would be good to know that
Okay.
if you want our input on any of this versus just
Yep.
information? Or is this in advance of them asking for more money for an emergency? Which this was, oh, no, these go back to the 2019. I'm just looking at it's 2019, I thought it was like this summer. Yeah, so this report's way back.
So it might be what they're using now to.
Yeah, I am sure. So makes me feel a little bit better that there's not 36 hotspots after 4 years of replacing
Yes.
the
I
roof, right?
agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, these wet spots are, that I'm looking at right now, not all of them, but they're all close to penetrations in the existing roof, like where mechanical equipment was, or
Mhm.
roof leaders or things like that. Or where there's already repairs. I can see that, where they've already had, over the years, they've had repairs in those locations.
Well, I'll double check that and get back to you. Entertain a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second?
Second.
Okay, we're here at 7:40.
Excellent.